The champagne tastes like metal, and Ella Lane knows she has been poisoned. She keeps smiling anyway, because a bartender at Nightfall Star cannot flinch. Above the dance floor, Victor Thorne talks like a gentleman and watches like a predator. Ella waits for the guard to turn, slips into Victor's office, and copies the files onto a tiny drive. Her stomach twists as the toxin blooms, but her hands stay steady. When the door handle rattles, she sweeps the guard off his feet and runs. In the parking garage, footsteps chase her down the ramp. A man shouts, "She has it, grab her." Ella clamps a hand to her abdomen, tasting blood on her lip. A black Maybach glides toward the exit, glossy as a blade. Ella lunges, yanks open the rear door, and collapses inside. "Drive." She gasps. The man in the front seat twists around, eyes sharp, voice colder than the concrete. "Who are you?" "Someone who is about to die," Ella says. Behind the car, Victor's men hesitate when they see the plate. The man notices, jaw tightening. "Lock the doors," he tells the driver. The locks click, and the Maybach surges forward. Street lights smear into gold lines. Ella fights the dark, but the poison wins. Before she blacks out, she hears the man answer a call. "Keller Walker," he says. "Yes, I am leaving now." His voice drops after the call ends. "Take us to the house," he orders. Across town, Leah Costa stares at Ella's missed call, and hears only static in the voicemail. Her grin vanishes. She opens a tracker, finds Ella moving toward the suburbs, and mutters, "Do not you dare die on me." The label under the dot makes her blink. Walker Estate. Leah grabs her medical bag and runs. Back in the club, Ella has already played too many roles tonight. She is the smiling bartender, the flirty distraction, the silent thief. Jesse drifts past her station, pretending to wipe a glass. He murmurs without moving his lips. 2 guards by the office. Ella answers the same way. "Give me 30 seconds. Victor lifts a hand in the booth, summoning her with a lazy curl of his finger. Ella glides up the stairs with a tray, nausea rising in hot waves. Victor smiles at her like he owns her lungs. "You are quieter than usual," he says. Ella forces a laugh. "Busy night." Victor's gaze slides to her throat. "Have a drink with me." Ella's mind screams, but her face stays sweet. "Only if you pour it." Victor pours the champagne himself, a gentleman making a gift. Ella takes one sip, just enough to keep the act alive, and the poison bites. As she leaves the booth, her knees threaten to fold. She grips the railing, counts steps, counts breaths, counts the seconds until she can disappear. When she slips into the office, the air feels colder, like secrets have their own weather. Her fingers find the safe, the drive, the copied files. Then her vision blurs and she hears a soft click. The office door is not fully closed. A shadow crosses the frosted glass. Ella spins, heart racing. The door opens a crack. A guard peers in. Ella smiles, bright and wrong. "Mr. Thorne asked for a pen," she says. The guard frowns. "You are not supposed to be in here." Ella shrugs, pretending bored. "You want to tell him no." The guard hesitates, then steps inside. Ella moves. One strike to his throat, one sweep to his legs, one shove into the wall. He goes down with a soft grunt. Ella drags him behind the desk, wipes her fingerprints from the handle, and stumbles into the hall. Jesse appears at the corner, eyes wide. "You are pale," he whispers. "Yeah." Ella whispers back. "Someone tried to kill me." Jesse's face goes slack. "Again. Move." Ella snaps. In the garage, when she throws herself into the Maybach, the leather is so clean it feels unreal. The man in front turns, and his stare is a blade. "Explain," he says. Ella tries to keep her voice firm. "My name is Elle." She lies. "I need 10 minutes. Keller Walker's gaze does not soften. 10 minutes for what? "For me not to die," Ella says. A guard's flashlight sweeps the far wall. Ella hears the men slow down, intimidated by the car, by the name, by the power they can taste. Keller studies the tremor in her hands. Then he looks forward and says, "Go." The driver accelerates. Keller taps his phone, sends a single message, and tells someone, "I want eyes on the estate." Ella barely hears it. Her hearing tunnels. Her heartbeat sounds too loud. "Do not pass out," Keller says. His voice is flat, but his hand steadies the bottle of water at her lips. Ella takes a sip and tastes copper. "You are not kind," she murmurs. "I am practical," Keller replies. "And you are bleeding on my seat." Ella laughs once, weak and sharp, then the darkness takes her anyway. Ella wakes in a guest room that smells like lemon polish and expensive silence. Pain flares when she moves. Keller Walker stands by the door, sleeves rolled, expression controlled. You should not move, he says. Ella keeps her voice steady. Where am I? My house. Why? Because you were bleeding in my car, he replies. And because the men chasing you stopped when they saw my plate. Ella reaches for her phone. It sits charged on the nightstand, placed like an offer. Keller watches her eyes. I pinged your last contact, he says. Your friend is coming. Ella freezes. You touched my phone. You broke into my car. Keller says. We are even. The door bursts open and Leah storms in, hair messy, medical bag swinging. She stops when she sees Keller, then rushes to Ella. Idiot. Leah snaps, checking Ella's pulse. This is not a hangover. Leah draws a syringe, injects an antidote, and Ella's burning pain eases into a dull ache. Keller studies Leah's hands. You are a doctor. Leah smiles sweetly. Private. Keller's stare narrows. As in illegal. As ineffective. Leah says, then turns to Ella and types fast. Ella's phone buzzes with a message. He is rubbing his ear. That is a nervous tick. CEO is nervous. CEO is into you. Ella's cheeks heat. Leah keeps working, setting 3 small bottles on the table. 1 a day. She tells Keller. 3 days. Keller reads the labels and looks up. That is it. Leah pats his shoulder. Simple for civilians. I am not a civilian, Keller says. Leah grins. Sure you are, just rich. Before leaving, Leah rattles off instructions like she owns the mansion. She needs quiet. No stress. And if there is thunder, do not stand there like a statue. Keller's ears go slightly red. Leah pauses at the door and locks eyes with him. If she asks to leave, let her. Keller answers flatly. She is free to go. Leah leaves anyway, smiling like she does not believe him. When the door closes, Keller looks at Ella. You are not a bartender, he says. Ella meets his gaze. Neither are you. Keller's mouth twitches. Drink your medicine, he says. And do not make me regret being kind. Keller does not leave after Leah walks out. He stands in the doorway like he is guarding a vault, not a guest room. Ella shifts under the blanket and meets his stare. If I am free to go, Ella says. Why do you look like you will stop me? Keller's jaw tightens. Because you are not stable. Because you are hiding something. And because I do not like being used. Ella forces herself to sit up a little. I did not plan to land in your car. Keller's eyes narrow. But you chose my car. I chose the closest door, Ella says. Keller leans forward. And you knew those men would back off when they saw me. Ella holds his gaze. I guessed. Keller's mouth twitches, not quite a smile. You guessed correctly. His hand rises to his ear, then drops. He looks annoyed with himself, and Ella wonders why. A soft knock interrupts them. A security officer steps in, discreet, respectful. Mr. Walker, the perimeter log shows a black SUV circled twice before dawn. Keller's face goes cold. Thorne, he says. The officer blinks. You know who? Keller says. I know the smell of money that wants to be dirty. He turns to Ella. So you did not bring danger to me. It was already sniffing my door. Ella swallows. That changes the math. She has been trained to keep civilians out of her wars. Keller is not a civilian. He is a fortress. And someone wants inside. Later, Leah calls again, because Leah never sleeps. Ella answers while Keller pretends not to listen, which is obvious nonsense. Leah whispers. He is standing 3 feet away. Ella whispers back. Yes. Leah says. He is pretending he does not care. Ella says. He is bad at it. Leah sighs dramatically. Okay, listen. You have 2 problems. Problem 1 is poison. Problem 2 is a man who has feelings but no user manual. Ella rubs her forehead. Please stop. Leah continues. I will stop when you marry him. Ella mutters. I will throw my phone into the pool. Keller speaks up, voice dry. Your friend is still on the line. Leah squeals. Mr. Walker. Hi. Keller closes his eyes like he regrets being born. Leah says. Thank you for keeping her alive. Keller replies. You are welcome. Leah adds. Also, do not hover. Hovering is a mating dance. Keller opens his eyes and stares at the wall like it might swallow him. I am not hovering, he says. Leah laughs. Sure. When the call ends, Keller looks at Ella, expression unreadable. You should rest, he says again, but softer now. Ella watches him for a long second. Do you always help strangers? She asks. Keller's voice is flat. No. Then why me? Keller pauses, and Ella sees it. The moment where he is about to lie, then chooses not to. Because you looked like you would rather die than beg. He says. And you still begged. Ella's throat tightens. Keller turns away quickly, as if embarrassed by his own honesty. He stops at the door. If you try to leave tonight, he adds, my security will not stop you, but they will follow you. Ella's eyes narrow. That is not freedom. Keller looks back. It is protection. He says. Do not confuse the two. Then he leaves and Ella lies back, breathing through the ache in her ribs, trying to remember that she came here to survive, not to feel. By morning, Keller has arranged a breakfast tray that looks like a corporate presentation. Ella asks for fruit, meaning 1 apple. An hour later, 3 delivery trucks unload crates into the kitchen. Apples, pears, mangoes, and a pineapple the size of a toddler. Ella stares at the marble island now buried under produce. Keller, she says. I asked for an apple. Keller, face blank, replies. This includes apples. Ella laughs, and to her shock Keller laughs too, short and rusty, like he has not practiced. That evening, Ella tries to work quietly on the copied files, hunting for shipping routes and coded ledgers. Keller walks in and sets a mug beside her. Ginger tea. He says. Leah said you need it. Ella takes a sip, warmth spreading through her chest in a way she does not trust. Keller decides, abruptly, to cook. Smoke rises. An alarm shrieks. He stares down at a pan where an egg has become charcoal. I can handle it, he insists. Ella coughs. You invented a new building material. Keller swears under his breath, then laughs again. The mansion feels less like a cage. Night brings rain. Thunder rolls over the estate, deep and violent. Ella lies awake, palms sweating, old fear crawling up her spine. Another crack hits and she jerks upright. The door opens. Keller stands there, hair damp from checking windows, awkward in the dim light. Are you all right? He asks. Ella tries to answer, but the next boom steals her voice. She grabs his sleeve. Keller freezes, then sits on the edge of the bed, stiff as a statue. I do not know what to do. He admits. Just stay. Ella whispers. Keller lifts an arm slowly and rests his hand on her shoulder. His warmth is steady. When another thunderclap shakes the glass, Ella leans into him by instinct. Keller's breath catches, then his arm wraps around her, firmer now. You are safe. He murmurs. Ella's phone buzzes under her pillow. Leah texts, of course. He is holding you. That is personal. Ella silences the phone. Keller notices anyway. Your friend texts a lot. He says. Ella mutters. She is annoying. Keller's mouth twitches. She seems effective. When the storm eases, Keller stands at the door. He touches his ear, then drops his hand like he got caught. Ella. He says quietly. Whatever you are running from, you do not have to do it alone. Ella watches him leave and hates how much she believes him. On the second day, Keller assigns a staff member to walk past Ella's door every hour. Ella notices. Keller pretends it is routine. Leah texts, because he is worried, and he is too proud to say it. Ella texts back, stop. Leah replies, no. Ella tries to work. She opens the stolen files and finds a ledger full of codes. She cannot crack it alone. She hates needing help. She hates even more that the person who can help is the man downstairs. When Keller walks into the study, Ella holds up the laptop. Do you know anything about export codes? She asks. Keller blinks, surprised. Yes. He says. I build systems that protect them. Ella exhales. Then look at this. Keller sits beside her, close enough that she smells coffee on him. His hand brushes the trackpad, careful not to touch her fingers. His eyes scan the screen and sharpen. This is not just smuggling. He says quietly. It is data laundering. Ella nods. And poison distribution. Keller's jaw tightens. Thorne plays with too many industries. He pauses, then glances at Ella. Your agency will move when you deliver it. Ella nods again. My problem is staying alive long enough to do it. A staff member knocks, timid. Mr. Walker, your lunch. Ella turns and sees a bowl of soup, a plate of bland chicken, and a tiny cup of applesauce. It looks like a hospital meal pretending to be expensive. Ella raises a brow. Applesauce. Keller's ears redden. Leah said simple foods. He mutters. Ella smirks. You listened. Keller touches his ear and glares at the soup like it betrayed him. That afternoon, Leah sends a series of texts like she is live commentating a sport. He adjusted the pillow behind your back. That means care. He asked if you slept. That means he watched your door. He offered ginger tea. That means he wants to be needed. Ella types, "You are impossible." Leah replies, "I am accurate." That night, Ella finds Keller in the living room, staring at a chessboard. "Do you play?" he asks without looking up. Ella sits. "Enough." They play in silence at first. Keller's moves are precise, ruthless. Ella counters with traps and misdirection. After 15 minutes, Keller pauses and says, "You are trained." Ella shrugs. "So are you." Keller's mouth tightens. "I trained for business." Ella moves her queen. "And I trained for lies." Keller looks at her, eyes steady. "Are you lying to me now?" Ella holds his gaze. "Yes." Keller nods once, as if he expected it. Then, unexpectedly, he slides his king forward. A risky move. An invitation. Ella hears Jessie's voice crackle through a secure line in her phone. "Hey," Jessie whispers. "Bad news." Ella's blood chills. "Talk." "Thorne is asking questions." Jessie says. "He knows you survived. And he is mad." Ella closes her eyes. Leah texts at the same time. "He is going to try again. Do not drink anything he gives you." Ella replies, "I noticed." Keller watches her face change. "What?" he asks. Ella hesitates, then says, "The man who poisoned me is looking for me." Keller's expression hardens into something lethal. He stands, walks to the window, and makes a call. "Double the perimeter," he says. "And run every plate that passes the gate." He hangs up and faces Ella. "You are staying here," he says. Ella bristles. "I told you, I am free." Keller steps closer. "You are," he says. "But if you leave, they will kill you." His voice drops. "And I will hate myself for letting it happen." Ella's anger fades into a heavy silence. Because she believes him. Because she sees the fear he refuses to name. Because the thunder outside is starting again, and she is suddenly more afraid of losing this safe place than she is of being trapped inside it. On day 2, Ella trains in the basement gym to remind herself she is not a guest, not a victim. Keller appears in a perfect tie and tells her, "Your stitches will open. I heal fast." She replies. He watches her stance a beat too long, then looks away like he is offended by his own attention. Leah arrives that afternoon with a grin and a tiny pink bottle. "No," Ella says. "Yes," Leah says. "It is a truth suggestion. It loosens inhibition and amplifies honesty." Ella hisses. "It is pink." Leah beams. "That is the science color of romance." Keller walks in mid-argument and stares at the bottle. "What is that?" Leah smiles like an angel. "Medicine." "For what?" "For emotional constipation." Leah says. Keller looks like he might throw her out. Leah points at Ella. "Drink your day 2, and do not die." Then she leaves, still grinning. That night, Ella stands in the kitchen with 2 mugs of coffee. She holds the pink bottle over Keller's mug and hesitates. This is wrong. Then she remembers Victor's men, the poison, and the drive hidden in her bag. Keller is a variable, and variables get people hurt. Ella tips 1 drop in, then, because Leah is a menace, a second. Keller drinks, and 10 minutes later his control cracks. "I do not like strangers in my car," he says. "I do not like unknown blood in my seats. And I do not like that you made me worry." He looks up, eyes too honest. "I keep thinking about you in that garage. You were terrified, but you still fought." His voice drops. "I want to know your real name. I want to know why you flinch at thunder. And I want to know why I care." Ella sets her mug down because her hands are shaking. Keller continues, words spilling like he cannot stop. "I think I am falling for you," he says. "I think you are dangerous. And I do not care." Then the serum fades, and panic hits his face. He looks at the mugs, then at Ella. "You drugged me." Ella winces. It was Leah. Keller should be furious. He is. But there is amusement under it, and that is worse. "You two are impossible," he mutters. Then he exhales. "Even without that, it is true." Keller leans forward, eyes steady now. "Tell me who is hunting you." Ella's training screams at her to stay silent. But she sees how he offered safety without knowing the cost. Ella exhales. "I stole proof from Victor Thorne," she says. Keller's expression turns to ice. "Thorne. Then we have a problem," he says. "Victor Thorne has been trying to buy my company for months." The next morning, Keller brings Ella a folder of background reports. "My team did a search," he says. Ella flips it open and finds nothing. No records. No past. A blank space where a life should be. Ella's stomach drops. "You scrubbed yourself," Keller says. "Professionally." Ella closes the folder. "So you know." Keller's gaze stays on her. "I know you are not a criminal," he says. Criminals do not look guilty about breathing. Ella almost laughs. It comes out softer. That is not a scientific standard. Keller shrugs. It is mine. Leah arrives again, because boundaries are a myth to her. She sees the folder, whistles, and says, "Wow. He is already doing boyfriend behavior." Keller glares. "Stop saying boyfriend." Leah grins. "Stop acting like one." While Leah pretends to check Ella's vitals, she whispers, "Tonight." Ella whispers back, "No." Leah whispers, "Yes." Ella whispers, "This is unethical." Leah whispers, "So is poison." Ella hates that Leah is not wrong. After the coffee confession, Keller sits with his elbows on the counter, jaw tight. He looks at Ella like he is fighting two wars, one outside and one inside. "You used me," he says. Ella flinches. "I used a drop of liquid. Not you." Keller's eyes harden, then soften. "I am angry," he admits. "Not because you made me talk. Because I liked it." Ella's breath catches. Keller shakes his head once, like he is disgusted with himself. "I built my life on control," he says. "Then you fell into my car, and my control did nothing." Ella whispers, "I did not mean to." Keller looks at her. "I know," he says. "That is why it scares me." Ella swallows. "You do not have to be involved," she says. Keller's voice turns sharp. "You do not get to decide what I care about." Ella blinks. Keller exhales, lowers his voice. "Sorry. I am not good at this." Ella's mouth twitches. "At feelings. At admitting them." Keller corrects. He hesitates, then adds, "At wanting someone who can leave me behind." Ella looks away, throat tight. Because he is right. Because her world is temporary by design. Because she has left good people behind before. She forces a steadier voice. "If you help me, you become a target." Keller's eyes are cold. "I have been a target since I was 18, he says. "It comes with money. It comes with my last name." Ella studies him. "Your father," she guesses. Keller's jaw tightens. "He taught me weakness is expensive," Keller says. "And then he died and left me the bill." For a moment, the mansion feels less perfect, less polished. It feels like a place built to hide grief. Ella reaches across the counter and touches Keller's hand. He does not pull away. He grips her fingers once, then lets go as if he is afraid of wanting more. Leah clears her throat loudly from the doorway. "Okay," she announces. Emotional breakthrough achieved. "Now, can we go back to the part where we destroy the evil man and you two make out?" Keller says. "Get out." Leah laughs. "I am leaving. But first, Ella, remember. If he touches his ear, he is nervous. If he brings you tea, he is trying. And if he says he does not care, he is lying." Leah leaves, and Ella turns back to Keller. "I will finish my mission," she says. "And then." She swallows. "And then I do not know." Keller's gaze is steady. "Then we will find out," he says. Together. They plan fast. Ella will return to Nightfall Star and pretend the poison failed. Keller will provide surveillance, private security, and a quiet channel to agents he trusts. Leah will supply antidotes, trackers, and a bottle labeled "Do Not Drink." Jesse will be support, which is the same as chaos. Keller drives Ella into Manhattan in an unmarked SUV, baseball cap pulled low. He keeps tapping his ear, then stopping himself. "You are nervous," Ella says. "I am not." He lies. Ella smiles. Keller grunts. "Fine. I do not like sending you into danger." Ella looks at him. "This is my job." Keller meets her gaze. "And you are not alone." Before she steps out, Keller presses a small earpiece into her palm. "If anything goes wrong," he says, "say the word." "What word?" Keller's mouth tightens. "Apple." Ella laughs despite herself. Then Keller leans in, slow, like a question. Ella answers with a kiss that turns urgent, like both of them have been holding their breath for days. "Stay alive." Keller murmurs. "You first." Ella whispers, then steps into the neon. Victor Thorne greets her like nothing happened. "Miss Lane," he says. "You look better than I expected." Ella smiles. "It takes more than a bad drink to ruin my night." Victor's gaze lingers. "Good. Because I have an offer for you." The offer is a trap. Victor wants her in private rooms, in corridors she should not enter, close enough to watch. Ella plays obedient and listens. In a VIP room, she hears words like shipment, port, inventory, lab. A briefcase opens to reveal foam-packed vials. Poison. Ella's skin crawls. Outside, Jesse is supposed to watch the hall. Instead, he argues with a vending machine, trips, and slams into an emergency door bar. A door swings open with a chirp. Jesse freezes. "Oh." Leah's voice snaps in his ear. "Jesse, what did you do?" "I found a door." Jesse whispers. Keller cuts in. "Where?" "Stairs." Jesse says. "Down." Leah goes quiet. Then she says. "That is the lab." Victor hears the alarm and turns cold. He grips Ella's arm, polite strength, and whispers. "Give it back." Ella smiles, bright and false. "I steal tips, not secrets." Victor's eyes flash. "Or you will learn what the next dose feels like." The VIP door blows open. Keller appears with his security, no cap now, no softness. "Let her go," Keller says. Victor releases Ella instantly, stepping back like he is offended. "Mr. Walker," Victor says smoothly. "What an unexpected honor." Keller's eyes are ice. "You are running a lab under this club," he says. "Evidence," he adds, lifting a camera. Victor's smile finally cracks. He snaps his fingers. The lights cut out. Chaos erupts. Ella grabs Keller's hand. They run for the stairwell. Before they move, Keller insists on one thing. His security team runs Ella through a basic safe house protocol. No last names in public. No direct routes. No alone time in parking lots. Ella bites back a laugh, because she has trained agents for years, and now a billionaire CEO is lecturing her like she is an intern. "You are enjoying this," Keller says in the SUV. Ella smirks. "A little." Keller grunts. "Good. Humor keeps you alive." Inside the club, Victor tests her in small ways. He offers a drink, watches her decline. He asks where she recovered, watches her lie. He tells a joke that is not funny, watches whether she laughs. Ella laughs anyway, because the job is acting, not honesty. Leah narrates in Ella's earpiece like a sports announcer. He blinked twice. "That is suspicion." Ella whispers. "Leah, stop." Leah whispers back. "Never." Jesse chimes in, too loud. "I am behind a plant." Ella hisses. "Jesse, please." Jesse whispers. "It is a very big plant." Leah sighs. "This is why I drink." Victor leans close at the bar. "I like survivors," he murmurs. Ella smiles. "Then you will love me." Victor's fingers tap the counter in a rhythm that feels like a code. "You disappeared from your apartment," he says. Ella's pulse jumps, but her face stays calm. "My landlord hates me." Victor chuckles, then his eyes sharpen. "Do not lie to me, Miss Lane." Ella lifts a brow. "Do not poison me, Mr. Thorne." Victor's smile is thin. "Fair." He escorts her to the VIP corridor. The guards recognize her, but their eyes are colder now. Victor opens the private room and gestures her inside like he is offering luxury. Inside, men in suits speak in low tones. A tablet shows shipping maps. A briefcase sits on the table, and when it opens, the vials gleam under the light. Ella pours drinks and listens. She hears a dock number. She hears a time. She hears a name that makes her stomach twist, a name tied to Keller's industry. Keller hears it too through the earpiece, and his breathing turns hard. In her ear he says, "That is my supplier." Ella whispers. "Then your company is in their web." Keller replies. "Not for long." The alarm chirp in the hall is Jesse's accidental genius. The emergency door opens, and the chemical smell rises. Victor's head tilts. His smile dies. He catches Ella's wrist, polite grip, dangerous strength. "You did not come back for tips," he whispers. Ella keeps smiling, because cameras exist. "I came back for my job." Victor leans closer, voice softer, uglier. "You came back because you did not have a choice." Ella's stomach drops. Because he is right. She is here because finishing is the only way to breathe. The blackout hits. Music cuts. People scream. In the dark, Ella hears Keller's voice, controlled and furious. "Move." She grabs Keller's hand when he reaches her, and they sprint down the stairwell while chaos explodes above. Emergency lights stain the stairwell red. Ella and Keller race down toward the basement lab, while shouting crashes above them. Leah's voice is crisp in Ella's ear. "Left at the second landing. Vent duct on your right." Ella follows training and adrenaline. Keller stays at her side, fast and grim. The lab is worse than she imagined. Steel tables, glass vials, syringes, a chair with leather straps. Victor Thorne waits at the far door, suit still perfect, eyes not. "You came for proof," Victor says, lifting a remote. Gas hisses from ceiling vents. Leah swears. "Hold your breath." Ella does. Keller does. They lunge for the cooler Leah planted earlier. 2 injectors labeled Leah sit inside. They inject, cold fire spreading through their veins. Victor pulls a gun. Keller's security storms in. A flashbang pops. Victor staggers. Ella moves low, kicks a guard's knee, slams another into a table. Keller reaches Victor, twists his wrist, and the gun clatters. Victor swings, clips Keller's ribs. Keller grunts. Ella drives a fist into Victor's stomach. Victor doubles over, shocked. Sirens wail. Agents flood the lab, weapons drawn. Victor Thorne, hands up. The lead agent shouts. Victor looks around, calculating, then lifts his hands with a theatrical sigh. Fine, he says. They cuff him and drag him away. Leah rushes in, checks Ella, then checks Keller, scolding both of them. Next time, try not to inhale mystery gas. She snaps. Keller, bruised and stubborn, says. There will not be a next time. Leah lifts a brow. Sure. Jesse arrives late, wide-eyed, and points at a hidden panel he opened by accident. Hard drives. Cash bricks. Passports. The agents swarm it. The case is done. Outside, the night air feels clean for the first time in weeks. Keller steps close, torn shirt, eyes steady. Ella Lane. He says. I am in love with you. It is inconvenient. It makes me reckless. But it is true. Leah claps loudly behind them. He said it without medicine. Keller mutters. Leah. Leah grins. I am documenting progress. Ella rests her hand on Keller's chest and feels his heart pounding. You are not inconvenient, she says. You are just late. Keller exhales, relief and fear tangled together. Then let me be late forever, he whispers. As long as I arrive. Ella kisses him, right there under the flashing lights, while Leah pretends to gag and Jesse pretends to faint. The weeks after feel unreal. Ella files her report, hands over the evidence, and gets reassigned to analysis. No more deep cover. No more poisoned drinks. Keller does not argue with her choice. He just asks, carefully. Will you still come home? Ella answers. Yes. And realizes the word does not hurt. At the estate, thunder rolls one night and Ella flinches out of habit. Keller is at her side before she can hide it. He does not ask questions. He wraps his arms around her and says, I am here. Leah calls it emotional exposure therapy and tries to bill Keller. Keller threatens to pay her in fruit. Leah accepts. Keller also tries to learn domestic skills like a man preparing for war. He watches cooking videos at 2 in the morning. He burns eggs, then improves. He makes soup that is edible. He sets an alarm on his phone labeled ginger tea, and pretends it is for the staff. Ella catches him once and says, You are adorable. Keller replies, That is slander. His ears turn red anyway. Jesse gets promoted for finding the hidden panel, which is unfair but hilarious. He celebrates by bringing takeout to the estate and announcing, I am a professional now. Leah says, You are a professional accident. Jesse grins. Still professional. One clear evening, Keller takes Ella to the top of his glass tower. City lights bloom below. He opens a velvet box with a simple ring. His hand twitches toward his ear, then stops. I cannot promise you a quiet life, he says. But I can promise you a true one. I will listen. I will learn. I will stop pretending I do not care. Ella laughs, eyes stinging. That is a good start. She whispers. Will you marry me? Keller asks. Yes, Ella says. Keller slides the ring onto her finger, breath shaking once like he is finally letting himself feel it. He kisses her, slow and sure, like a vow.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.